Hi everyone, I'm Kelly Wilhite, and I want to ask you a question. Do you believe that having relief from anxiety and depression can actually happen when someone has better digestion and gut health? It's true. Healthier digestion and gut functioning can actually make a big impact on someone who wants freedom from their anxiety and depression. Have you ever noticed that when you're sick with the flu or you have some stomach ache, you may feel depressed? Or you're already dealing with some anxiety and you notice that it may get worse after a heavy meal or eating late at night? Or how about those times when someone gets nauseous or even have diarrhea when they're about to speak in front of a group of people? This is because your gut and your brain are directly connected via a two-way street called the enteric nervous system, or the second brain. The second brain in our gut communicates with the brain in our head, and it plays a key role in inflammation, certain diseases, and even having an effect on our mood and our state of mind. Now, studies show that improving digestive function and gut health plays a big role in reducing anxiousness and depressive behavior. Now, I want to be clear that I do realize there is need for antidepressant and anti-anxiety medications that may be instrumental during a temporary basis or even life-threatening life-saving at times. But ultimately, though, strengthening the gut can improve symptoms, prevent the need for medications, or help the body prepare itself for weaning off medications. Now, disclaimer, any weaning off of medications for depression should be done while under the supervision for any mental health provider. All right, let's get down to business. I want to share 10 tips that can improve your digestive and gut health in order to support reduction in anxiety and depression. So the first one may not come as too much a surprise, and you've probably heard this a lot more lately, and that is to avoid antibiotics. Now, it's not just antibiotics, though, it's also other medications. Most are familiar that antibiotics can negatively affect our gut health. However, it's not just limited to antibiotics that can wreak havoc on our digestion and gut functioning. Other medications, whether they're over-the-counter or prescribed, such as proton pump inhibitors or PPIs, which are usually prescribed for things like heartburn and GERD, acid reflux, things like that, or OTC or over-the-counter pain meds like ibuprofen and aspirin, birth control pills, antihistamines, anti-diabetics like metformin, anti-anxiety drugs, and more. So there's a lot of different classes of medications that can negatively affect our gut functioning. The second tip that can help improve your gut function, which then can help improve your anxiety, depression, is probiotics and prebiotics. Most are familiar with probiotics, which are healthy bacteria that help our system. But just popping any probiotic is not the answer either. You do need to do your research, but I won't be able to go into detail on that in different types of probiotics or different types of prebiotics. That'll have to be for another time. But I do want to also indicate the caveat that if you have SIBO or small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, very specific probiotics are best, because some can aggravate it, and prebiotics can also aggravate it. So it is important that you overcome that when you're working with probiotics and prebiotics. Now, prebiotics, I don't think I mentioned, are the actual types of fibers in foods that feed the bacteria, the probiotic. And kind of a tag along to that, as the third tip, is consuming probiotic-rich foods, such as sauerkraut, not the sauerkraut you get in a can, but actually cultured sauerkraut you may find in the near the dairy area, or not the freezer section, but the cool section of the store. Kombucha, non-dairy kefir, kimchi, and all of these are different types. You can even make your own cultured foods at home. So those are probiotic-rich foods. But as mentioned above, if you do have SIBO, you may have to be careful with these until you overcome that. A fourth tip is avoiding inflammatory foods, which is a big ask, but it does have a big effect on improving anxiety and depression. Now, the whole group of a group of inflammatory foods are gluten and dairy, soy, processed foods, any processed foods really, or most of them, refined sugars, unhealthy fats and oils, anything you're allergic or sensitive to. Now, each person is unique, so the appropriate dietary plan is going to vary by person, but ultimately inflammatory foods are going to then be inflammatory to your gut and digestive system and wreak havoc if you've got anxiety and depression. Now, the fifth tip is about how many servings of vegetables you should have daily. And I get this question a lot. And the minimum really for good, strong nutrient intake is a minimum of 6 servings of vegetables. Now, notice I didn't say vegetables and fruits, 6 servings of vegetables daily. And that's 4 being non-starchy, meaning not all potatoes and peas. And also changing it around so you're eating a variety and not the same thing every day. Of course, more than that is going to help flood your body with even more greater nutrients. But I would start with a goal of having 6 servings of vegetables daily. And then the 6th tip is to consume toxin-free, good filtered water. And this is, the amount is going to vary by person, of course, because it's going to depend on how much you sweat and exercise and different medications and how they dehydrate you and different things. However, a general rule is to drink at least half your body weight in ounces. So if you weigh, for instance, if you weigh 180 pounds, then you're drinking 90 ounces in water a day. Again, that's a general rule. Now, the next one probably isn't going to come as a surprise, but a lot of people still have to work on this, and that's to get at least 7.5 to 9 hours of quality sleep each day. So that doesn't mean that you're 9 hours in bed. It means that you're getting good quality sleep when you're in bed. This is incredibly important to have the time and environment your body needs to recover and heal. And the 8th tip is daily activity. So this could mean just working in the garden, working in the yard, raking up some leaves this time of year, doing housework for 60 minutes, walking 3 miles, going to the gym for an hour, or even training for a marathon. The activity and the level of it's going to vary by person. What's most important is staying active, but not overdoing it. Now, the 9th tip is something that has been much more promoted lately, so you've probably heard: meditation and deep, slow diaphragm breathing, or we can also call it one of the factors of mindful breathing. This has amazing effects on our digestive and gut health, and even directly for anxiety and depression. I won't have time to get into all the detail here about meditation and mindful breathing, but I do have another video and talk about it in my Facebook group. If in fact you haven't already joined my Facebook group, it's called Freedom from Chronic Symptoms. Freedom from Chronic Symptoms, and it would be a great way for you to be around like-minded folks for support and encouragement, and get a consistent flow of tips to help you and ask questions that I will personally respond to. So it is just such a privilege and blessing for me to engage with folks who are striving to be healthier and even overcome chronic challenges. I was once in that boat, and I can relate to the suffering and that it just never seems to end. So I know what that's like. I would love to be a part of helping you to overcome. Now, the 10th tip for supporting your gut and digestive health function, which in effect has a great impact on anxiety and depression, is having a thankful, grateful attitude and positive mindset. I cannot say enough about this. Yes, this can even happen when things are not going well for you, when you're not feeling well, when you're very down. But it must be started in practice to create and develop this healthy habit. Just like any habit, you got to start it and you got to practice it. So being thankful and having positive thoughts has an amazing beneficial effect on not just our digestive and gut health, but to our mental state and our overall health, really. It's not just about telling yourself, don't think about negative things. That's not even recommended to just do. You don't just want a blank slate in your mind. You want a mind filled with positive, affirming, thankful thoughts So you must replace the negative with the positive. So there you have it. There's 10 tips. Of course, there are other things you can do, but this is a great place to start. It's many smaller changes really that add up to having a big impact, and you have to start somewhere. So just pick a couple of those tips that I mentioned, and when you get those down, pick a couple more. Until next time, God bless you and enjoy your day.